Okay, here we are again. Wow, it has felt like a long time. I know that at the start of this year I wanted to do 4 episodes a month, and that was going well until recently. I guess the obvious excuse is life gets in the way. I actually hate that phrase. I think a more accurate phrase would be that I lost some discipline and started procrastinating with these episodes, because currently I think I have 3 others that are in the waiting. So hopefully they'll get out soon. They will get out soon. I'm making that promise now. I need to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more structured with my time and make them happen. I'm still getting nice comments from unexpected people about listening to this podcast, and that is always fuel for me to keep making them. So yeah, I'm getting my act together at the moment. We're back on the horse. We're back getting into people's minds and seeing what's in there. As per usual, in the background you can hear some noises. Often it's music, but this time it's raw sounds. It's from a Raw video, a classic. It came out in 2017, and this is Elise Bickley's Wipp submission video. Now, Elise at the time was 13 years old, okay? And in this short compilation, she does double flyaways, inward sides, a back full off a car, palm flips, and a cork on a soaking wet roof. That last one always stuck out to me. And I remember being obviously aware of Elise at this point, but just seeing the audacity of some of these moves at her age was just amazing. And she then went on to win the women's division of Wipp 2017 at 13 years old. So I was thinking about this episode, I was thinking about Liam and Nova City, and Elise in many ways is a champion of Nova City. So I definitely wanted to use this opportunity to showcase some of her best work, I believe. And she's still progressing now, obviously. That was a few years ago now, so she's even better. So this is testament to her incredible determination, but also testament to Liam's coaching. Liam has been a companion and coach to Elise for what seems like a long time now. And in this episode, we get into that a little bit more. We also have a few laughs. Liam's a great guy, great sense of humour. But what I was most impressed by in this episode is Liam opening up about a few issues that he's had recently with his mental health, with his mental game in parkour, with some troubles at competitions. So I guess this episode does come with a bit of a trigger warning. There's things that we talk about which you may find troubling. And if you do, that's fine. That's okay. You can always reach out to me or Liam. We're always here to listen. I think this is an amazing opportunity to just sit back and listen to Liam. He's always doing something. He's always getting involved, whether it's Nova or travelling around Yorkshire, training with different people. He's a great guy. He's got incredible ambition. He's a brilliant mover as well. So please give it up for Liam. This is episode 38. Enjoy yourself. Listen closely. Have a good one, guys. Wait, sorry, Liam. I need to stop. Sorry, I did the stupidest thing. I didn't click record on Zoom. Sorry. Right, we'll go again.
That's fine.
Number one mistake. Make sure you click record. Okay. All right, folks, we're back. I was just asking Liam how his stomach is, because a group of Geordie bandits gave him a very hot chili recently, and I was asking him if he'd recovered or not. So yeah. Go ahead,
so obviously we're recording, but yeah, I was just saying, no, not really. My stomach is still proper churned up from that. I don't know if it is the chili or if it's just general day-to-day stress why I've got no appetite, but I've not really been eating the same since, which is fun.
Okay. Well, I hope it kind of recedes, because what type of chili was it? What type of chili was it?
What's it called now? I know it's got Reaper in the second bit.
Oh, Caroline Reaper, is it?
Carolina Reaper, yeah, of course, Carolina Reaper. That's the one. But I've had when I were at college and that, I've done the all eating the hot chilies before. So I'm like, oh, what worse could it be? And yeah, it were a hell of a lot worse. Hell of a lot worse. So, like I said, definitely an interesting one.
Yeah.
But it got me through the event.
Well, this is the thing.
Got
This
me
is,
through the night, yeah.
I think this is one of the questions that's coming up later. Is like, how did you go on to get first in the Grim Jam Skill adult comp, and you were beset by this chili? I don't know. None of us understand really.
Do you want to go into that later, or do you want me to?
Maybe we'll save it. Yeah, we'll save that because that was the sort of one of the Q&A questions. So I'll start firing off my questions really. But it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no worries.
And I guess really what I'm interested in is you are Nova City. You know, you are a big part of Nova City.
Yeah, I like to think that a lot of my time for the past countless years. I'm trying to think when. Well, the actual start. Well, yeah, the actual building's been going since 2015, but pre-building, like, been putting time in, effort in to try and essentially get it to where it is today. Obviously, a few setbacks along the way, but now I think I'm at the point now where I'm kind of looking at what can I do more with it. What's that next step? And it's a scary sort of time, even though it shouldn't be. I think it's a little bit of coming out of lockdown and then what's next for the gym, what's next for Nova, what's like what can we grow? Obviously we've got Project Underground, which I want to try and push to be the biggest and best it can be. I've already started planning for number 10 and number 9 ain't even happened yet, because which I'll do a brief bit now, but essentially I want to go bigger and better than what we've ever gone. But that's something which, like I said, is definitely scary to what that could be. But I'm definitely going to try and push the best I can. And it's hard because I want to talk about what I want to achieve and what I want to do, but then I don't want to make promises that I can't fulfill. But I've got an idea of where I want it to go. But then if it doesn't achieve to where I want it, and then I've said, oh, we're going to do this, and they don't, I'm going to be disappointed in myself, and then I feel like I've let people down, which is the hardest bit.
Well, maybe you can make a parkour coach companion promise live on air. And it has to happen.
I don't know. Well, I can talk about like where I want it to go. Before you do that, just for people who may don't know.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about Nova City, where it is, and what happens there, and because I guess it is one of the most well-known facilities in the UK now, and I think
I'd like to hope so.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to strive for.
I think that it's quite important in that it's quite a strong link between the North and the South communities, at least in my eyes. But yeah, for people who've never heard of it, tell us a bit about Nova City.
So essentially, Nova City it's not just a parkour gym. It's a parkour centre we also do dance. We've got like aerial silks. We do circus courses. We do like tricks other than just parkour. So we do a class called like tricks and flips where we learn skills from like obviously tricking, a bit of breaking, a bit of capoeira stuff in there. It's not like designed specifically for each one of the disciplines, but it's like a mashup of all the lot. We do toddler sessions from as soon as essentially kids can walk, so very young ages, all the way till doing adult sessions. At the moment, our adult sessions hasn't been taught because the restrictions kind of dictated that, and it's trying to find time to build them back in. We're looking at like a full timetable revamp come September anyway. So hopefully, that's tomorrow, where we're starting to add more and more classes into that timetable where we can start catering for stuff like adults and that again. But we still, like I said, we have our open sessions. We do them every single day apart from Sunday at Rotherham, but then every single day at Barnsley, because we've got 2 venues. It's not just Rotherham. A lot of people when they think of obviously Nova City, obviously think of the Rotherham one, especially from the parkour scene, because it's bigger, I suppose, for parkour. Barnsley one is obviously a little bit smaller. Not many, I wouldn't say not many like your bigger athletes go to the Barnsley venue. Odd couple of times they do, but they gravitate towards more Rotherham. I think mainly, like I said, because it was catered for parkour first, whereas Barnsley was a bit more. The room size dictated it, really. I think. Yeah. For that one. So we, like I said, with that, that's essentially what Nova is. It's a facility for anyone who wants to train parkour, dance, tricks, breaking out. Really, just. Come and blow some steam off and do some jumps.
And so, how does the coaching work then? Do you have like a number of different coaches? Do they have different positions? How does it run?
So at the moment, coaching wise, we've got quite a few, quite a like limited number of coaches. So there's Ant and Sonny, who pretty much take the majority of classes at Rotherham. They do the both the tricks and the parkour, and then for the Barnsley, we've now got Noah Harwood from Street Media teaching our Barnsley classes, which has been a blessing because like obviously his background as well in parkour is very good, and the fact that he's quite respected in the parkour community, and to have him teach the classes as well, I think that's an incredible thing. And then I teach bits and bobs now. My coaching has now gone down to essentially me covering classes when needed, because I'm doing so much other things in the background where it's hard to find time to coaching, which is a shame because I did enjoy doing it, but I've got, like I said, other coaches there now, like I said, Ant, Sonny and Noah, who can probably do the job I need them to do, where I can focus on, like I said, building other things, trying to take the venue to a bigger, broader place, essentially.
And how do you find the coaching at Noah? Do they kind of follow a certain type of syllabus or kind of theme type sessions, or is it quite kind of very laissez-faire, like kind of spontaneous coaching? What do you kind of see when you see them coaching?
It's kind of we keep trying to do what the hardest bit. It's a bit of a mixture between both. So we do like a general plan of what these 6 weeks we're going to try and hit this. But then, because it's so like how our classes go, we don't do like monthly memberships or you have to do this many classes. It's just pay as you go. So we find that one week you could have a group of kids who are, like said, can just smash every challenge we set and do all that straight away, and then another week it could be a completely different set of kids in the same, could be like say 110s parkour class, this exactly the same class, same day, completely different set of kids who then might find it a bit more challenging, a bit more struggle. It might be their first session. We get quite a lot of newcomers all the time coming in, so it's trying to find that balance. We might, like say for example, if we've gone on this week's plan, we're going to teach laches, for example. we might have to then go, okay, this kid's never done this movement before. It'd be silly throwing him straight on the 2.5 metre bar to try and do a lâcher prise over, like, say, a 2 metre gap. It's not going to happen. So let's try and cater to him at the same time we're catering for the people who can do that. So it's like, it's an interesting sort of thing, but like how the park is set up, that I believe everything's sort of grouped in like little areas. So like when you're doing bars, all the bars are generally together, so you can go, right, if you're struggling, go and work on this area, we can work on there. If you've already got it, next one up, we could try it here. Also, you managed to do a lâcher to prise. Oh, there's a lâcher to cat leap here, why don't you give that a go? Sort of thing. And then where the instructor is, they can bounce about and try and help each other out. And then how we structure the lesson plans. We generally have an hour session. I do a 10-minute warm up, 4 activities, all 10 minutes each, and then we have 10 minutes of free time at the end for them to practice skills. Because I do believe the free time is important in the training. And it's surprising how many kids actually just come for the free time, which is it's an interesting one. Because I just got you do know we have open sessions, but it's surprising how many come for that, because they've got, like I said, a bit of structure which then they can try out and adapt themselves, and then having the instructor go around in the free time to go, oh, that look, what you're trying here is cool, but could you maybe try this to it, add a tic-tac to it, make this jump a little bit bigger, sort of thing, and just tweaking it up and building their confidence and building their like abilities within the moves they want to learn as well.
And there's really been some beasts that are coming out of Nova. I mean, you got Elise, Bickley, you got Murray White, incredible talent, and it's so interesting to me, these two athletes in particular, because it begs the question, if you have better equipment, i.e. in the case of Nova, does that allow for better progression? Are we limiting children, especially with limited equipment in classes? Do we need more places like Nova to kind of unlock the kind of potential of kids? So my question is it's kind of what I sent to you. Would Elise or Murray have been created? Would people like those? Would they have been developed?
It's interesting terminology. It's generally hard to say, because we don't have the ability to go back and go, right, let's remove the gym and let's see how things go. But I think equipment and that does definitely help, because obviously, as you're probably aware, growing up without that, you're very limited to like even down to having a crash mat, the ability to throw yourself onto a crash mat and taking that little bit of fear element out of it and understanding your body is a lot harder without that sort of there. So like I say, you've got like Elise, who's doing moves now like doing roll bombs off of stupidly like low blocks at the age of when she was 12, which if she didn't have the equipment there to do that, she probably wouldn't have been trying it. But then you, like you said, but you don't know, do you? It's hard. It's an hard one to say you don't know. But I think a lot of it comes down to determination as well. Like I've been working like especially with like Elise since she was like 11, and her determination to like achieve something is beyond anyone I've ever seen. It's ridiculously crazy. Like, for example, one she did. I remember back, me and Adam Dorr was out filming some, like essentially I can't remember what exactly it was for. I don't know if it was just doing like we were out training and just filming a challenge, or if it were for one of the Tempest comps. Maybe she was going. I don't know, actually, I think it was more like we were out training, but they were like she was trying to swing cast over like a little roof gap. Ooh. She did it first time, But then that weren't good enough for her, so I think we filmed 37 more attempts.
Wow.
And every time we're fine, but she weren't happy with it. So she's like, it were like just slightly, like a foot might be slightly to the side, or it's not stomped perfectly, or it's landed a little bit too heavy, and it's like dedication to perfection in her craft is like above anyone's I've ever seen, and it's
Wow.
but like I said, it's crazy. And then like with Murray, I'd like to work with Murray a lot more. To be fair, I really need to. Well, I don't see him as much as like as like I see like Elise, but like he's like I said, he's talented on like in his own regards. From a young age, he was doing bigger jumps than some adults were doing, which is ridiculous. Like even when he was younger, we were calling him Murray Maddox because he had like crazy jumps. Which, like I said, for a kid to see it, it's mint. It's crazy because like we, like I said, what we get from it is our generation now from the scene can inspire that next generation to see where them boundaries are, what we necessarily didn't have. And I think that, like I said, that in itself is a different kind of rewarding sort of thing. And but yeah, back to equipment. Who knows? Because like I said, their determinations is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I said, that's. Sorry, I was just saying that's just two examples, because obviously there's so many more other kids, and not just this gym, but all other gyms popping up around the world where you can see it. Like I watched a video of Bob Reese put on other day of the kid he's teaching, and the stuff he's doing is like doing the same as what Bob Reese is doing, and he's 11 years old, and it's the having that. I don't know if it's necessarily having the equipment, but having the equipment as well as someone who's got a bit of experience to bounce it off of,
yeah,
goes a long way. And it's crazy to think when they're older what the youth their training's going to be doing if they take down a coaching route. Yeah,
it's fascinating and terrifying.
No, I love it. I think it's mint. I think it's so good.
Yeah, man. Well, that's so. How early did you see this in Elise?
Well,
this sense of determination.
I think the determination side actually came after the first air whip, from what I was seeing it, like the actual drive to be like the perfection bit. But like before that, she just had. It was just more. I think, like, I can't say exactly because I'm not in her head, but from the outset, what I can see, it looked like. The realness of the sport came after the first air whip, like what it could be came from that. Whereas before that, it was just like, oh, it's just a bit of fun and all that. But she was really talented at that age. So like when she first ever came to Nova, first Project Underground, that were her first time at Nova with her first Project Underground, and she won first place in her category under 12s. She'd had like 6 months of training beforehand with Lorien, actually. I don't know. I'll shout him out, Lorien Biet. French guy, lives in Sheffield, top lad, very good at his handstands. He's like I said, he's an incredible athlete in his own regard, like what he does. But like Elise trained with him at one of the local gyms in Sheffield called Steel City, and then she came here for project, dominated. And then she's been stuck here ever since, I think.
Yeah, I guess having that sort of taste of, wow, I can actually compete at a high level. Maybe that was a huge
like
shift.
Eye opener.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a positive thing with competitions. As long as you're not hell bent on winning at whatever cost, I think that. Yeah, getting involved in a competition can really open your eyes to like a bit of self-affirmation. Like, yeah, I can be pretty good at this. I can do well.
Yeah, and it's definitely opened my eyes as well. Like, 'cause I was especially in the camp of screw comps, that's not parkour, and all that. And now I've run 9 of them, going to be running the 9th one of competition, so I definitely feel hypocritical on that sense. But yeah, it's just it's an interesting one, that dilemma. And I think for me, why the comps thing was a very sort of no subject at the time. But how many years ago was that? We're saying, well, project's been running. I'm saying project's been running 6 years, so it's definitely my mindset's changed before then.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a lot younger. I think it was just like the purist sort of mentality gets drilled into you from essentially I'd say the generation before me, which wasn't, well, I started around the time when Jump London came out, Jump Britain come out, so that generation is that sort of mentality's there in it, where it's the parkour is about self-expression and nothing else. And so, but like I said, the sports have evolved a lot since then, and I think there is room for that, and there definitely is room for that sort of part of it, but there is also room for comps and doing things differently. And it's like I said, but that comes in, that's still that self-expression in itself. If you want to go down the route of being an athlete and competing, you should be entitled to do that. And if you want to go down the route of going, I just want to go out at a weekend and jump on some walls and have fun with my mates, you should also be allowed to do that. There should be some middle ground, and I'm not the person to tell you otherwise by going, your competition is not right. So that's why I said my mindset's changed, and like now I've run 8 and going about to run the 9th one in February.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're listening, guys, get your tickets. February 20th.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep plugging this the whole time, because I want people to come.
What is it? February 22nd, is it?
No, it's February 18th to 20th.
Okay.
18th to the 20th.
Okay.
3 days. What I will say here, I'm trying to do. It's gonna happen. It's got to happen. I'm gonna run a women's. Well, I'm not saying Nova is going to run a women's competition this time.
Okay.
As well as, because I think it's about time we did it. Like, there's been a little bit of demand for it for a while, but because I think we haven't run one, people haven't come for that. So we need to essentially bite the bullet, run one, see how it goes as well. So that should be fun. Should be an interesting event. And I want to do... like I said, this is the management side of it, this is the scary side of it, but trying to figure out a way to do equal prize money as well, because I don't know much about, if you know much about like how, I don't think I've ever spoke about it, but like budgeting wise for like project, everything essentially is funded by Nova, it all comes from Nova, and the events essentially, only the last event we did actually made profit. The previous events either broke even or lost profit, so it's all like, and then adding the scary, like I said, the scary bit is the financial side of it, is the adding another competition on with essentially equal prize money. So that would be £1,000 if I can. So I mean, I'm going to try and do it best I can. This about the promises: £1,000 for freestyle, £1,000 for skill, and £1,000 for speed. That's another £3,000 on top of it. Which, if it doesn't, that's coming out of Nova's funds, which it's fine. We can do that because it's good for the community. Yeah. But it's scary at the same time. So, and that's not been announced yet. So, and if it does get announced and it's slightly different, but it will be equal, then yeah. But it's because like the thing is as well, we've already set a thing where it's been like, it's £1,000 for first place for freestyle, it's £1,000 first place for speed, it's £1,000 first place for skill. That was for the last one. To go back on that now and change that, and even if it were like, oh, we're doing £500 for first, do I think there would be backlash from the parkour community? No, I don't. But will I be disappointed in myself that I've not run the event to what it could potentially be? Yeah. Yeah, there's more of a I want every year needs to get better. To be better,
yeah.
Yeah, and like sometimes it can't be, and that's the world we live in, and that's life, and but will I have failed? For me, yeah, I would have. So I need to not fail. I need to do everything I can to get that. Essentially.
Amazing. So yeah, guys, we'll keep plugging it throughout this episode. But get your tickets to Project Underground. I shamefully have only been to. I think I went to the first one, the very first one.
Did you go to the first one, or did you go to the Christmas one, which weren't actually Project Underground?
I competed in speed. There wasn't a skill comp at that point. I'm pretty sure.
No, we only had a skill comp the last time.
Yeah. I've missed a lot of them for various reasons, but they always look so sick. Like, so many people, and you get, Josh Dowie over from America. Like, these are big events, guys. If you're listening in the UK especially, it doesn't really get much bigger than Project Underground. Like, it's a fantastic event, and you will see a lot of heroes there. There's a lot of crazy shit going down. So even if you go as a spectator and just want to watch and have your mind blown, then I would thoroughly recommend. I'm going to be there. I want to try and compete in skill again, because I think, just going back on one of your previous points about comps, I had a similar mindset, 10 years ago, where comps seemed very counter to what I wanted to do with parkour. But now,
and I think that's where we'll be a lot of people, though.
Yeah. I think it is. But what I think my understanding now is that I've got a lot of experience behind me, and particularly the skill competition, it's like, here's my chance to put it together. Like, here's my chance to actually have a pressured moment where I need to perform. And it's funny, because in some ways I think that does relate to some of the initial philosophies of parkour. Be strong to be useful, be ready to act, to move. And for me, I love the skill, because it's actually like it's like this is a marker for where I'm at.
Definitely.
And for me, that's brilliant, because it's not when are you going to use when are you ever going to use parkour? Or, well, maybe if this atrocity happens, or maybe if I'm late for this, or maybe if someone's dangling from a building. Okay, they're pretty rare. But like, having an actual competition with pressure is an immediate urgent situation, and I actually love that. And I found myself in Grim Jam doing stuff that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
Honestly, that skill comp is probably, it's a weird one. It's like the happiest I've been in like 2 years. Just seeing that, no, just experiencing it though. That's what I mean. That environment and that sort of thing, and that's what, it doesn't feel like a competition, and that's why, like, I feel like the parkour community is so good when it comes to even like things like comps and that. Whereas I remember like being younger and doing stuff like trampolining competitions and doing dance, and finding it so like sort of the mentality of, you'd go in and you'd see like a rival sort of dance team or a guy from another trampolining place, and they'd be like, he's the enemy. Like, you need to be better. And I hated that mentality. I absolutely despised it at the time, and I still do. I hate the sort of, you go to like say a dance event and you've got dance schools, and they're going, we're better than you because we're from this dance school, or I'm better than you because I'm from this dance school. And it's like that sort of, I don't like it. And then that's why I think why my sort of disdain to competition started from. But then seeing it in the parkour world and seeing everyone like hype each other up who you're competing against is incredible. Like, that's how it should be. And it's the same with like other sports like skateboarding. It seems the same. I don't know if you watch much of the Olympics, but the skateboarding there, like, you've got people from around the world like celebrating other people's achievements in the same sport. And like, you won't get that in your traditional sports.
It's like what Jimmy the Giant. Obviously, these aren't his actual kind of words, but I remember him posting on his story at one point. He's like, in parkour, we all want to see each other win. Like, and that's just such an amazing thing. We're all so excited to see progression from everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think because we're so invested in the sport and what it gave us, seeing that give someone else joy is a joy in itself. If you know what I mean? Like, and that's when it comes back to coaching. That in coaching, seeing someone else achieve something, what they thought was impossible, and you're like, yeah, mate, you've done that. You've achieved that. I said it's such a good feeling.
For sure. Yeah, I took my boy Maximus Mall, the legendary Maximus. I brought him over to Grim Jam. It was his first jam.
I heard you talking to Jake and going, some gym rivalry here.
Yeah. There's a bit of that, like, what did Jake call it? Competitive dad syndrome.
That was me. I threw that in.
Oh yeah, sorry, you said that.
Competitive dad syndrome.
Yeah, I love that. I think that might be more and more the case as time goes on with all us oldies. But yeah, Max went to his first jam and it was a comp, like, let alone, it was just crazy. And to see him so hyped to get 1 point in the first skill round, he's barely done any of these types of challenges, and he got a point, and that's all he wanted, and he was over the moon and
buzzed off that.
Yeah, and he will carry that buzz, onwards and into the rest of my classes for other people, and it's just awesome. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's incredible.
But yeah, so what about yourself then? Like, who did anyone mentor you or teach you?
Not exactly. Not in parkour. Not really. I had so essentially I got into parkour from. I used to do trampolining before all this. I didn't really like it. It wasn't really for me. The distraction of the crash mats on the floor next to the trampolines was very, very enticing. So I used to throw myself around on that while I was waiting for goes. And then I remember I did one trampoline comp, won it. Hated it because they were like, you need to wear, like, I went in with just a t-shirt and shorts, and I lost points for not wearing a leotard, and I'm like, I'm not wearing a leotard, and they're like, you need to wear a leotard, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I must have been about 10 at this age. Authority problem. No. I'm not wearing a leotard. And then like I said, still did the competition, still came first, which, yay.
Sick.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo. So, like I said, it's a sport I don't like, but it's not that I don't like it. I didn't enjoy it because of the environment, what the comps were causing. You have to do this. And not a fan. And then my trampolining coach went, next competition you have to wear a leotard or you're not entering. And I was like, fine, I quit. So then at school the next day, a lad just went, I was just talking to someone in my tutor group about it, and they're just like, oh, we do a boys gym club thing, you should come along to it, you're good at flips, why don't you give it a try? And I was like, alright. And then 2 weeks later, I still hadn't gone. And then he's like, you should come to that. So I'm like, alright. So I just ended up going to there, and it was just like a trampette, a vault box, crash mat, and then a trampette, a crash mat, and then a springboard and a crash mat, and that were all the setup were. And then just learnt from chucking myself about there. And then the PE teacher, Mr. Richards, if you happen to be happen to see this, what are the chances? You never know. He sort of facilitated the start of my parkour career. Essentially, without that gym club, that wouldn't have happened. So, like I said, big shout out to him, because if it weren't for him and that putting them sessions on every dinner time on a Tuesday, then I probably wouldn't be where I am now, doing what I'm doing. I would probably gone like where most teenagers go, fall out of love of a sport, and then just find themselves lost and finding just a job doing Tesco or Asda, or not there's no wrong with them, but it's just not for me.
And so, do you think that on that note, do you think that you're kind of in parkour for good now, as in you don't have any, basically what I'm saying is, do you have any other aspirations aside from parkour?
Many. Many. But parkour is the driving force behind a lot of it as well. It's not like, so like, as well as essentially parkour, I essentially love design, love creation, love like that's sort of digital media side of things. Like I did games design at university, so essentially all the stuff I've learned from uni, I apply to the gym, which is a weird sort of thing to say. How does game design relate to parkour, in the sense of, well, the blocks and everything were all built in Maya, which is the software which they use to make 3D model. It's been used for like Jurassic Park, the same software for that. I use that to design the blocks on, and then put that in Unreal Engine, which is obviously what some games are built on, to then display it and plan it out. And then any sort of ideas I've got now, even like events coming up, any flyers, posters, that all comes from the design work I've done at uni and learning all that. So all that sort of thing, all animations I've ever created, because I like to, if I'm putting a poster out, obviously some simple ones I can just whip together on Photoshop, but then I get in my head, I'm like, well, that's not good enough. Well, maybe if I animate it, it'll be a little bit better. Oh, wait a minute, I could 3D model the logo and put that spinning on there instead. Let's do that. And then a poster what should have took me 10 minutes will take me 6 hours. And all it says is parkour class next week. Because I get carried away. But like the passion to create something feels so much more than... And I have this constant battle with Lisa, the other director of the company, because I really spend too long on making things that perfectionist sort of making things look right. Where it to be fair, she's right in the sense of like we just need to get it out there and say that, because like I don't know, it's just something in me where I want to make it better, take that next level with even little things. Like I must have redesigned our cafe menu 6 times, and all it says is chips are £1.
Yeah. Well, tell us a bit more about your graphic work in the parkour community, because I know that you are responsible, and I hope more people know this, you're responsible for the excellent Soul Destroyer Reaper animation logo image type thing. So tell us a bit about that experience.
Yeah, so I didn't design it originally. I didn't do the design for that. I just did the animation side. Just to make that clear. I'm not claiming because that artwork is ridiculously good, and I don't think I'm at that ability where I could even dedicate time to even create something like that. Essentially, it started because Giles put a post on his Instagram just saying, "Oh, is there any animators out there?" And I'd not done animation in that sense in a long time, talking since college. And you know what? I was like, I can animate that. I can give it a stab at that. It'd probably take me 2 hours to do. I had an idea in my head, so I shot a message back saying, "Yeah, I'll do that. Just send me artwork and I'll animate it." And the idea I had, where it was just like just the hand comes up, head moves a little bit, add a bit of lightning. I pretty much finished within 2 hours. But then I was looking at it, I'm like, I can do better than this. And then about 60 hours later, I finished it after months and months of like finding little gaps to, and I'm probably the only person who was very thankful that the Soul Destroyer got pushed back and delayed, because if it hadn't, I wouldn't have finished that animation. And it's like I had a finished copy of it, but I weren't happy with it because what happened is like that cloth, the cloth on the actual Reaper. I was like, I could make that wave if wind were hitting it, but his hand moves, so his hand has to flow upwards and have a cloth animation. And on this, and I'm like, how am I going to do a cloth animation? I know how to do it in 3D, but it's a 2D image. I've never done cloth animation in 2D. I'll figure it out. So I spent countless hours just with like a towel going like this, recording it, watching it in slow motion, trying to figure out how it waves, and then redrawing it over and over again and over and over again. But then you have to, people who are listening have to bring up an image of the actual Soul Destroyer sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not just one layer. There's like different levels of lighting. So each section of the cloth had essentially a crease, and I had to manually animate each one of them separately. So that's why it took its time. But I think it got the result I wanted in the end. But it took a hell of a lot of time to get to. But I'm just happy that I managed to create something for the parkour community, what's different to what I've already done. And then other than that, I've done an animation for Jake for the Team Reality, the Infinite Possibilities little thing, only something simple. That didn't take as long as the Soul Destroyer one.
Yeah.
And then I've done I did your little flame on your logo.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, I've not really done no else, I don't think. And if you have got any ideas, hit me up. I'll spend countless hours on them. But
well, I was going to say, yeah, Giles, you're a lucky geezer, because this is something that I touched on with Tam Tamila when I was talking to her, because she's an awesome creative talent as well. And I was I think after I talked to her, I like messaged you saying, oh man, you guys have got to collab somehow. Or like you, Tam and Fraz the Wizard or something, like, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff he's putting up, and he's doing more 3D stuff now, which I'm buzzed to see, because like obviously that's my background, so I've seen it, I'm like, that's cool, that's good.
Yeah.
Sick.
But yeah, what I was going to say is I've been thinking a bit more about aesthetics and graphics and social media and stuff, and it really interests me that, for example, the Soul Destroyer graphic logo, whatever you want to call it, because it's so good, it adds a sense of legitimacy to a project. And it's kind of like, I don't know what you think about this, and I'm really curious, but do we, in a sense, if we want to try and get people's attention and get them interested, should we be using more animators and graphic designers and things? Because social media is a visual feast, and seeing something with a little bit more legitimacy, a little bit more something that looks professional and solid, it does have a bigger effect. And I've noticed myself watching things like, for example, I think it was a sort of short video you made for Nova, and you had this crazy like neon kind of animation and stuff, and combined with the kids doing parkour and the dancers, and
I know which one you mean, and we like Joel's head flying off.
Yeah. And I was watching it, and I was just like, this looks great. Like this so much more than just a couple of clips shoved together. Oh, hello, we've got some summer camps, come along. So what I'm saying is, do you think, we should be focusing more on this kind of aesthetic level to try and promote parkour?
I think it does help reach a broader audience, because obviously if you're coming from a background where you're not in the sport, what would you rather see? Would you rather see some Instagram clip of someone just jumping from a wall to a wall, or would you like to see the same Instagram clip of someone jumping from wall to wall with like mad effects going off? You're jumping, you're landing, some splash puddles coming out of it, there's like some whoosh effects that's going across, some nicely edited music to it. Obviously the trick in itself is still the same, and if you're in the actual sport, you're gonna appreciate it both ways, and actually it might be counterproductive in the other sense to people actually in the sport seeing the animated side, and to be like, it might just come across as cringe or cheesy. But from the outset of the general public, that's who's gonna maybe like it more. And I think that he's finding that nice balance between both, like not going full over top that you're gonna alienate the actual community you're in, but not going full sort of, this is the only way to do it because this is pure parkour, where it alienates the general public. I think he's fine. Like I said, it's finding that balance, with that nice balance. If you can do something where it's like properly well achieved, but then it's also visually impressive as well, then you're gonna strike a broader audience, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's curious to me because I was watching Project Dive Roll 2 the other day.
Yeah, I actually finished that. I started it and then I think I got distracted. It's very easy to get distracted, even though I should dedicate. It's only like a 3-minute long video, isn't it? And I got halfway through.
Yeah, you can do it. No, it's
what happens. I'll start it, and then I'll get a message from work. That's why I'm thankful my phone's on airplane mode right now, because right now it'd be buzzing. I can already see the Instagram notifications popping up on this tab I've got on the screen.
Oh God!
But I'm just ignoring it.
But yeah, big shout out to CP Denister, Project Dive Roll 2. It's a great video, guys. Go and check it out. It's literally all dive rolls, and to a pretty gnarly kind of level, actually. Probably the highest level I've seen ever, maybe. But I was interested in watching it because he does use some overlays, some animation, some graphic stuff. And I hate to say this, CP, but for me, it took away from it. So,
but that's what I think I was just saying when I was saying, like, from the actual parkour community.
Yeah.
We're looking at it from a different point of view. We're looking at it. We want to just see parkour. We don't necessarily care about the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. So what my thinking is that for sort of promotion and advertising, I think that it stands out. But then for more like movement reels, sometimes it can detract. I'm not saying it's, by the way, it's good quality. I'm not saying it's bad quality animation. It is good. But for me, I just noticed it taking me out of it a little bit. But then again, apparently he's releasing like a 70-minute behind the scenes documentary or something ridiculous. So, I mean, I'd love to see that. So
yeah, that sounds interesting actually. Because just seeing the mindset behind all that is fascinating in itself. Seeing how people click when it comes to.
For sure, man. Now, how are we doing? How are we doing for time? Where are we up to? Okay, so
I'm all right. On my thing, it's recorded 53 minutes.
Yeah, lovely. Okay. Yeah, let's get into the Instagram questions, I think.
Okay.
Some of them. Oh, by the way, did you have any for me?
I did, yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Jake Harris.
Okay.
Oh, I think Jake Harris. Team Reality said, if you could swap any business enterprises with anyone, what would it be? That's the paraphrase. I don't have the question in front of me, but that's essentially what.
If I could swap
Parkour enterprise with someone, who would it be? So, like, for example, if you are asking me if I was to swap my enterprise with someone, would I swap it with this person? So I'd swap with Jake from Team Reality to give him an experience what Nova's like, and I can see what it's like from his side.
Oh, I see. Kind of like
business swap for the day.
Oh, a business swap for the day.
Let's go with that.
Interesting. I mean, I work for Agility, which is like a Ninja Warrior facility in York. And we've only been going a couple of years now. Well, mainly a year really because of the pandemic. So, okay. To be honest, I would love to see what Train Hard are doing. I think they're set up with Scott Jackson in Bournemouth with the converted squash courts has always fascinated me. I think they have a really.
I've still not been there. I do want to check it out eventually. I just struggle finding time for anything.
Yeah, I mean it's a long way. It's quite tricky to get to. So apologies, Scott. But you know we are interested, and don't worry, it does look like an amazing place. But I think I just over the years I have kind of looked up to Scott in different ways. I've asked him for guidance, asked him for help, and I just be curious to see how they've been how they run their facility and what they're up to, because it's not a massive place, but they seem to fit a lot in. They've had some really talented athletes come through, you know, Max Barker and all the others in his kind of group, and so that's kind of one of my immediate thoughts. I would love to see what they do. So yeah, that's a good question.
But yeah, that the only one I got for you.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Let me just quickly check your questions. That's the most important bit. Okay, so first one, let's just have a look. All right, so this is from our boy Jordan Shaw.
Here we go.
He's kind of got two questions. Been a little bit greedy there. That's all right though. He says, Liam, do you plan your training sessions, or is it a natural/random process? And then his second question is, who are your biggest movement inspirations?
Right. Okay. The second one's thrown me a bit, but I'll go with the first one first. So, no, it's completely sporadic, my training. I don't have any plan. I just go out and just see what happens. There's no sort of set goal, no sort of what I want to achieve. However, when I do find something I want to do, or the training doesn't go how I want it to, I do get a bit butthurt and I get down with myself. Like, for example, what day are we on? Tuesday, aren't we? It's thrown me off this bank holiday Monday thing. Saturday, I went out training, and I got home about 7 o'clock, and in my head I'm like, I have not done anything I wanted to do today. I have not achieved, even though I didn't set out with a plan, it just felt like the training session, I didn't achieve much. I did a scratty line, and that's about it. And it was just and I only did that because I'd not done anything else. And I was just like, do you know what? I'm going home. I'm tired. But then I got home, and then, like I said, sat on set here about 7 o'clock, and I'm just going, I'm going back out. I can't do it. I'm not happy. I'm going back out to train. And I didn't end up going back out, but I punished myself with doing some press ups and sit ups instead. And then, so then I right, Monday, next day, I'm going to go out, and I was supposed to be doing some work for Nova, even though just to schedule some posts to get ready for the next classes. But then, like I said, I was in that mindset from the day before I don't know what day I'm on. I'm losing track of days. That mindset from the day before where I'm just like, I'm not happy, I'm going to go and actually train, actually do something what I want to achieve. And then I went to Gainsborough with actual Jordan Shaw, who's asking the question, and I properly enjoyed myself. I had a bit of a blip halfway through where I found a challenge where I couldn't achieve, and then that bummed me out for about an hour. and then I got over it and did some other stuff. So we're all right.
So very very sporadic kind of
Yeah.
style. And so what about your biggest movement inspirations then?
I'll be honest. I'm probably really bad for it, but I don't really watch much parkour stuff anymore, so I don't even know. I don't even know, and I really should. And it's just, I think what it is I get home and I've been all day doing parkour, training other people do parkour and seeing all that, and then I get home and then I just go on YouTube and watch Minecraft videos. Which I have no shame in saying. Shout out to Grian MC on Instagram if you want to follow a good Minecrafter.
Okay.
So like before that, I'd probably say like people like Farang was very. People like Farang, I know it's a team. People in Farang were very my sort of inspiration when I actually doing more of the training sort of stuff, and like even now looking at like stuff what Pasha does, I proper enjoy his style of movement, that sort of creative sort of just using the environment to how he sort of sees it. It's not the same, it's not the standard, is it? It's not the but yeah, I like that sort of quirkiness to things, and I think what I just know, and maybe like biggest inspiration stuff at the moment is probably like say seeing even the young uns train, like seeing what they're doing, it inspires me more than what anyone who's been in the scene for years are doing, because seeing them overcome challenges makes me want to go, I could probably still do it. Seeing them do something incredible going, and then going, I want to do something incredible for myself, and that sort of thing. It don't have to be the same thing, like chucking swing cast fulls, for example, let's say. I know right now I couldn't achieve that, but seeing someone else do it, like a Ute do it, and then going, that's sick, maybe they push through that boundary, I can push through a boundary and do something.
Nice.
I think that's what inspires me more, I think, at the moment.
Next question is from John Cleveland. Shout out John.
Yes.
Young lad, I think he is from Grimsby. I could be completely wrong. Sorry, John. Young lad who, astonishingly, after the skill final, just stepped up and did the capstone arm jump. I think he's like 14, 15.
That were incredible to see that, because he was so buzzed after that. That were ridiculous. That were, for like I said, young athlete doing stuff what were freaking out adults. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So shout out to John. He asks, how long have you been doing parkour, Liam, and when did you become a part of Nova City?
I started parkour about 11. Well, I started parkour when someone told me I was doing parkour. So officially when I was 11. But I've been throwing myself around a long time before then. I used to... So, I don't know. Officially about 17. Well, this is about year 17, essentially. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Officially. But like I said, before that, God knows. There's a picture of me dressed as Spider-Man climbing walls when I were in year 1999. So...
Yeah. And so when did you join Nova?
The very beginning. Like I said, the get-go. Officially Nova was 2018 when it officially became Nova, from when it used to be called Team Catalyst. But I started Catalyst from when I want to say 17. Maybe now it's probably longer. When I left school, whatever age you are when you leave school. Because I bumped into a lad in the Meadowhall shopping centre I used to do the boys gym club with, who went, "Oh, what are you doing now?" I'm like, "Just doing bits of training." And he's like, "Oh, you should come and try out this thing I do in Wickersley Sports Hall. We rent it out for like 2 nights a week. You should give it a go." So that's how I got involved with the old TK lot. And then I said had a bit of a blip, let's say, and then now it's Nova City.
What do you know roughly what year that was it started, or?
I know when the centre got opened, that were 2015. That were May 2015. But before that, it's been going out a long time. Trying to get a centre for years and years before that. But like I said, it all blurs together. It's not like my memory of things has just all become one like gloopy blob of a mess.
We got a question from Team Reality from, I assume, Jake. Jake says, he wants to ask you how running a gym has influenced the movements you excel at or prefer to train. So he's written how running a gym has influenced the movements he excels at or prefers to train. Okay.
I think I grasp what he's saying. He's like, ow. Yeah. Like you said, obviously running. Yeah. So interesting one. I've never really thought of it. I don't think it's changed my way I used to train anyway. I always used to go, well, I still do. Go out, no plan, just train what I want to train. So it don't really change that. I suppose it's allowed me to learn tricks what I've never thought of trying. Like I learned castaways here. Literally the day we opened. Actually, no, it weren't. It did before that. It was the day we built the sponge pit. Before we even had the sponge in there, I put a crash mat on the floor, and I learned how to do a worm cast and a castaway, and I learned that in literally the day there, just because it like having a facility. But then since then, obviously, more and more tricks and stuff I've learned from there, which obviously outside is not there. And now I've definitely become a gym free runner where my confidence on the outside is definitely shot compared to being inside a gym where even though it's landing on wood and sometimes metal, just having that sort of false sense of security behind there, because there's a little bit of 2 centimetre of padded floor, is definitely changed my mindset. Then comparing that to concrete, like it's not that much different, the landing, but in your head it is. If you land on your head, you're not gonna crack your skull open on a padded floor, but you are on concrete. So throwing the flips and stuff outside has definitely been a weird one, because like looking at this, when was the last time in my head, when was the last time I fell on the padded floor where I could have seriously hurt myself? Very rare nowadays, because everything's calculated and whatnot. So in theory, doing it outside should be the same, but then that extra little bit of danger throws me off a little bit, which is an odd one.
Interesting.
Which I'm still, my mental game is definitely not how it used to be.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think it's a lot worse than what it used to be.
A lot worse. See, that's interesting, because one of the questions I was going to ask you myself was about your approach in the skill competition, because you seemed very casual, very quick to commit to things, and for me, from a outside perspective, I was like, he knows what he's doing. Like he doesn't seem very scared. He seems on top of it.
Well, I suppose that filters into the what I originally wanted to talk to you about, because before the skill comp happened, I was going to talk about like where I see myself in parkour, and obviously now being an older athlete and the mental game, and that like I feel like in the sport now, I feel like I'm a washed up athlete essentially, which is a proper odd thing. And then it's a weird sort of mentality where I feel like I can't achieve in my abilities anymore. Like, and that's like, I'm nearly 30. I'm 28, so 2 more years. Well, not quite. It's a year and a half, so I'm 30. In my head, from being a young age, I always told myself, by 30, I'll have broken every bone in my body. I'll be playing wheelchair basketball. I don't know why that sort of mentality sort of stuck. And I think now, because I'm getting closer to that sort of milestone where in my head I've done everything I wanted to achieve, and I still haven't done everything I wanted to achieve in the sort of sport, or it feels like I haven't done what I wanted to achieve. That clock's ticking away, and it's like I said, it's this weird milestone where I put on myself from a young age, and like I said that mental game's not there. Like I said, going out and training yesterday and not achieving one of the challenges I saw and wanted to do, and I was butthurt about it for an hour because of the when am I going to get a chance to do this again sort of thing. And like, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be broken. I'm going to be and like I said, it's all self-doubt. It's all self-hate and sort of worry that I'm past it. I'm beyond where I'm at. But then I go and win a skill competition, which throughout the whole, like I said, I don't know if I spoke to you about this on the event, but the whole night, I stayed up the whole night, had no sleep. I went on a walk around Grimsby at like 3-4 a.m. with Elise, just talking about my worries. But I shouldn't be relaying my worries onto an athlete who I want to inspire. But for some reason at the time, my head's not in the right space. I'm going, like I said, walking around Grimsby going about, I'm going to fail this competition, I'm going to stay up all night and actually deliberately damage my own mental game so I don't have to compete, which is a weird one. Then going, but I can't shut off as well. I've got all these thoughts going through my head about, I've got Project Underground coming up. This is a section I like to call now Rambling from a Madman, because this is where I start venting, by the way.
It's fine, man. It's fine.
Yeah. I've got Project Underground coming up. What if people don't come to it? This event's been amazing. This, how can I replicate this? How can I do better? How can I do this? Oh, actually, I've got vertical asset as well I still want to do, which is a little side project I want to focus on, which is, I'm going off topic a little bit, but where I want to sort of help younger athletes like Murray, like we've got like Oscar, Joel, Ollie, Harry, Danny, all little athletes from Nova, who I can hopefully one day be able to sponsor and actually be able to send to all these events, and they can get something. I've got that going off, and then I've got ideas for clothing where it's augmented reality, where you put a phone up to it and it all animates and does all that. I'm like, when am I going to achieve this? When am I going to do this? I want to make video games again, but then I don't, because then that gets away in all this gets in the way of what I can achieve with Nova. But then am I a detriment to myself by not doing this other stuff? When am I going to find time? And then the doubt kicks in with, like I said, the competition in the morning. Oh, if I just stay up all night, I can just bounce a few challenges. I'll fail. It don't matter. I can walk away and I'm happy because it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. But then then for some reason, one bang 4 challenges, and then in my head, even then. So doing that competition, the doubt starts kicking in, and so there were the first challenge what I did, Joe, when they were pointing them out, the first challenge what I did, the 180 challenges, you had to go 180, splat the wall, catch the 180.
Yeah.
I knew from the get-go, like as soon as that got announced, I was like, yeah, I can do this. This is, in my head, this wasn't a challenge, because I don't know if you saw me training beforehand. I was doing that with the extra 180 and the 180 pre on top. So, and Joe, when I did that challenge as well, I did it, and then in my head I stopped. I don't know if you ever watch it back on video. I stopped because I had to stop myself from actually then going, and then carrying on, because in my head I thought, Joe, this would be funny, Joe, if I did this. But then I thought, then it'll look. I didn't want to show up anyone else, so I stopped doing it, and I just stopped myself, landed, moved on to the next challenge. But in my head I'm like, if I did this would be funny. It'd get a reaction from the crowd. Crowd would probably love it. But then how does that make the other athletes feel? That I've just one-upped what's supposed to be a difficult challenge? And then I'm just like, I can't do that to them. I can't do that to myself. And then I'm like, but then I feel like an idiot if I did that. So I stopped, moved on, did the next challenge, which I think I did the capstone one next, the capstone one. But then I remember when the same thing, pointing that out, when Jake got to that one, he was like, and then no one's done this arm jump yet. And I remember looking over to Elise, who were sat on top of the roof, and I just like went, I've got this.
Yeah.
Because that sort of challenge, them challenges, the 180s and the big arm jumps, is what I do, what I train. Like, I had no doubt that I couldn't do that. So then I just like I said, that joked with, I tried to joke with crowd about hitting the light above, and that was my way of doing the joking with the crowd bit on the 180s, but not in a sort of showing off way, because that's what I hate in myself. Because throughout growing up in school, doing any sort of tricks, any sort of flips, all I ever got were, you're just a show off. But I never did it for them. I always did it for me. And that sort of mentality is always sort of stuck, where like, if I do something, you're just showing off you. Oh no, I'm not. I don't really care what you think about my movement or my ability. I do it for me. But then, like I said, that has a weird sort of psychological sort of effect on you. And then, like I said, I did the capstone thing, caught it, and then in my head I'm like, I could worm back from this. No, stop it, Liam. That's silly. Stop doing that. Like, move on. Did the lache, which I actually didn't think I could get, but I got it. And then even surprisingly, I did the pre, stuck the pre, which I actually did not expect to do at all. I didn't even think I could jump to a rail that far, but stuck it. And then at that moment, I nearly gave up. I just nearly went, I'm done, because all the other three challenges, the concrete to rail, knew I couldn't do that. I did that. I tried it as a joke after. The laches, I know I can't lache that distance. I know I can do that distance from a cast, but since learning bargainers from a cast, I can't lache without bargainering from a cast. So I can't not do it. I've tried it so many times to get my technique back. Can't do it. So I knew I couldn't get that distance. And then the tic tac, it didn't look reasonable in my head. I'm like, I can't do that. I tic tac off my right strongest. That's a left footed tic tac. It's not happening. And and then in my head, in that comp, I got to that 4 challenges there, and I'm like, I worked out pretty quickly. I'm like, the only way someone can beat me now is if they get 5 challenges out of 7. The only person who's capable of doing that's Dean, I think, probably, realistically, looking at it. And I'm like, I'm happy with the 4 challenges. I nearly just went, done, I'm off. But then like I said, I had a little showboat moment, not showboat, showy sort of talk with the crowd and stuff. Like, they were like, I know, like, try this one. I'm like, alright, I'll give it a go. And sort of just like playing up, just using my lives for a bit of fun, because I knew I couldn't do them, so why not give them a try? And then like joking with like someone like, you can prep it. I'm like, nah, it's alright, I don't need to prep. It's not that I don't need to prep, it's just like I knew I couldn't do it, so there was no point prepping it.
Yeah.
Because I knew where my abilities lie, and I knew I fully couldn't do them challenges. So I was just like, give them a go, see what happens. I might as well use my lives on them.
I found it particularly funny that, I mean, it's almost annoyingly funny that when you did the rail pre, literally as you're in midair, someone goes, Adam Door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you stuck it. I was like, oh, for God's sake. But yeah, that was crazy, man. So crazy.
But yeah, I said I entered that competition with a lot of, like I said, I think I mask it really well with the calm and collective sort of persona, but internally there's a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-hatred amongst that, which I need to get over, and I'm trying to get over it best I can. And I think I'll get there. It's just I see this as another challenge in myself, what I need to overcome, and it's a weird one because, like, I don't know how much I want to delve into my actual psyche, but
it's all up to you. Man.
No. I'm trying to think the best way I can talk about it. It's an hard subject. It's something I've been trying to talk to more people about, and talking on a platform is a weird thing because I don't want to say the wrong thing, if you know what I mean. Like, especially down the self-hatred and the self sort of loathing side of it, where you, like, 1 minute, like let's put it this way, like, after, so I went to Art Emotion, I went to see all that, seeing that event, seeing all that, how it went, and seeing, like, Elise achieve what I could only dream of achieving after the event, like that sort of kick back to reality, and that sort of, like I said, that self sort of where you're gonna be now, what's to achieve, and then essentially I could have, and I nearly did, just like throw it all away, nearly done, that's it, clocked out, that's it, I'm done. But I don't think I could do that. What stopped me is the people around me. Like, what if I threw it all away now, what does that do for everyone else who I could inspire or bring through the sport or do that ends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's an hard one, and then, like I said, and then that self sort of fear of where I am in the parkour world, and that where I am in life adds on top of it. And then I've come out of that, and then I had 10 days of isolation, of driving myself crazy in house, going through the motions, and then coming out of that and going, no, I want to push myself to the best of me. What can I actually achieve? I started making a video, which I'm not going to release because it's more for myself, where the start, I've done the start and end. It's just the middle bit I need to fill out with actual parkour stuff. The beginning and the end essentially is me not talking to camera, but like GoPro, sort of how I'm seeing my sort of box. I might release it one day, but sort of boxy, sort of tunnel vision world of how I'm seeing things and how I'm treating myself, and how I'm sort of, I don't know, self, like sort of damaging myself. And then the end of it is how I've walked away from that and actually accepted who I am, even though I fully haven't yet, but I've accepted who I am, and that next step of them, once I can push past it and like achieve what I want to achieve, that's the ending. Like I said, I need to pad it out with some parkour clips. I've got some in there, but it's, like I said, it's not finished to how I like it. I'm using music from what I listened to when I was younger, with sort of some dark undertones in there, just 'cause that's where my head's at. And then, like I said, and then like I've come out of that, started making that video, come out of that, and I've gone, right, how can I push myself to be the best me who I can be? And that is through my parkour, that is through the people I train, that is through the centre I have got to give to people and stuff. And then that ties into, like I said, my other stuff, like the vertical asset sort of project I want to do, where I can then eventually sponsor athletes. That comes down to even my psyche of, like, and I've spoken to you a little bit about it, I joke about it, but like the crypto side of things, if I can invest some money now, if I can do my plan, which is I'm nearly there, it's only like compared to some other people in the cryptocurrency sort of in world, if I can just get, my goal is essentially by the end of the year to make £10,000, I can then use that money. What I could do with £10,000 to inspire the next athletes, that could be getting them to events, that could be getting them to even stuff like art of motion. How sick would that be for a young athlete? But I could do that by having this little thing, and like I said, I'm on track to getting that. That's all I need in my head to start to do that. That could be a kid could come to me and be like, I want to do a clothing brand in parkour, similar to like how Motus have done it, similar to how even like how Reality are doing their little clothing stuff. And I could be like, here's £1,000, mate, go and do some t-shirts. And that's what I want to do. And I'm in that position to do it now. Not quite, but I'm getting there. I'm getting closer to it. And like I said, ramblings of a madman.
Wow, that was.
Yeah, sorry, I just went off on a tangent. I do that.
No, that's fine. Honestly, Liam, I think I'm just absorbing a lot of what you've said.
Yeah, I said a lot, and like a lot bleed into it, and I've not even started rambling about bigger picture yet, and like, well, there's a little bit in there, but.
Yeah, well,
because I find myself doing that a lot at the moment, talking about the future and like the future of the sport, like even like Olympics. Let's talk like look at the Olympics. Like, granted, when, I don't know how do you like changing subjects a bit. I know it's all over the place. Olympics. How do you see parkour and Olympics going? Do you think it's a thing?
Well, wouldn't it be interesting to look back on this conversation when it's firmly established in the Olympics? And but yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed the Olympics this year. It's one of the only times where I watch a lot of TV. I just love watching all these amazing people. I think the new sports that came through were fantastic to watch, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, where's parkour here? Like, the potential is enormous, having parkour in the Olympics. And it's just kind of eerie now that for so many years, people have said to me on the street, like, oh, what are you training for? You're training for Olympics and all that. And it's like, well, probably not me, but like, this could actually become a thing soon. And I guess it goes into the rabbit hole of FIG and who gets to decide. Because, we are, as small grassroots little individuals and organisations, we're doing some pretty awesome competitions, like around the UK and the Americans and the Europeans and all over, really. There's some brilliant organisations doing brilliant stuff. And I feel that in the right hands, then I would love to see parkour Olympics. It would be absolutely fantastic. I think it would absolutely blow people's minds as well. And
my mindset on it is pretty much the same now. And I think seeing the Olympics, how well it did with skateboarding, how well it did with BMX, why couldn't that do good for the sport as well? And That is probably going to get me a lot of hate for saying that, but I think it, like I said, if it's in the right hands, I think it could do well. But who is them right hands?
Yeah.
And
it's the hard bit. That's the hard bit.
And that's the hard bit. And what I'd like to see is some people from the sport being able to do it. Because like I don't know skateboarding like how I know parkour. I used to do it when I was younger. I dabble with it a bit now, just for every now and again. I still can't land a kickflip every time. It really annoys me. I wish I could. But when I watch the interview, when they're talking about when they're interviewing the guy who runs the British skateboarding team, I'm looking at him. I'm like, is he a skateboarder? I bet he's not a skateboarder. Why should he be in charge of the skateboarding? And that sort of thing throws me off. I wonder if he can kickflip. But and it's that I think we need some of that in the parkour scene needs to be pushing for that, and the I don't know how to say this. Like, do I think parkour will be in the Olympics for 2028? Because it didn't get the bid, did it, for 2024? They tried to get it and it failed. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard a couple of rumours, but they're only rumours, so I don't really know. Yeah.
From what I think, well, I said, don't quote me on this. I'm not. They went for 2020, it didn't go through. They went for 2024, it didn't go through. But I think breakdancing did, whereas breakdancing didn't get for 2020, but skateboarding, BMXing did for 2020. Breakdancing got for 2024, which then leaves. I don't think the bids have gone in for 2028 yet. So it wouldn't surprise me, based off how well skateboarding has done, that they're looking for more urban sports. Seeing how breakdancing is going to be in 2024, we'll see how that goes. It wouldn't surprise me if Olympics is going to take on parkour for 2028. That I'd put money on it, if I were being honest. I'd put money on that's where it's going to go. But that then gives this opportunity of where does parkour see it going in the Olympics. And this is why I'm talking like bigger picture. You look at the funding what skateboarding's going to get now. Skateboarding did so well in the Olympics. British like skateboarding teams are going to get millions of pounds each year now up until the next what's it called? Next Olympic. I don't know why I struggle on the word Olympics. I've said it about 8 times in this very sentence. They're going to get millions of pounds till the next one just to train their athletes, build facilities, build venues, just for building that next generation up who can compete. If parkour is for 2028, or even the one after, it's going to be the same. All that money is going to trickle in. But it's not. I'm not saying it is all about money, but money grants opportunity. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. If that money is going to start building centres bigger and better than what we have, that's going to be good for young athletes. They might still, and I think they do with skateboarding, they're still going to go and train outside and do all the outside stuff, but having that venue as well, having dedicated coaches, having physios, having all this what we didn't have, is going to be better for them and their longevity in the sport. Like I was saying earlier, the jokingly, well, not actually being deadly serious about it, that being in a wheelchair by 30 mentality might not be a thing if I had a physio, had coaches, had all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's where the money side brings it. But being opposed to that, yes, you have your right to be opposed, but all you're going to get done is being left on the curbside, where everyone else is going to, hopefully, how you want to do it, you want to bring everyone up around you and achieve everything around you. You don't want to be the one left on the side going, well, you might want. And I said, I'm very sort of, I'm not the person to say you are right or wrong. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see the sport grow, and I'd like to see people grow with the sport. Regardless of if I can be a part of helping people grow, or if it's the Olympics helping people grow. If the Olympics can bring up someone who becomes this incredible athlete, then fair play. They've done that. They've achieved what wouldn't have happened if it weren't there.
Okay, my friend. Well, I think
On
those positive notes, I think we'll round up. We did get a couple of questions from Adam Dorr.
Shall we spitfire them?
Well, to be honest, no, because they're basically
very similar.
You've covered them, yeah. So big thanks to Adam Dorr, for Tay, and for Max. Max Moll, you all asked some questions. Thank you for those. I hope they've been answered. Liam, from me, thank you so much for your ramblings. Thank you so much for that monologue. Honestly, man, because I think that it will be very interesting for people to hear this depth to you, to Liam. And whilst I was listening, I was thinking to myself, I am very excited to see Liam see himself in the way that I'm seeing you now, man, because that was such a really important and very brave monologue, and I just want to say thank you so much for sharing.
I think with like I said, that, like, I keep calling it ramblings of a madman. I need to do it more to tell myself that, I don't know how I'm going to say it, tell myself that I'm worth it then, but tell myself that I can still achieve, which is like I said, I've not been able to do that in a long time, and I think it's definitely a very weird thing amongst, I'd say, the male sort of psyche, where you don't open up, people bottle things up. I don't know if it is just on the, like I said, the male psyche, but I know it's notorious along males where they hold everything in for too long, and then it just one day. So it got to the point where it could have been that, and I've gone, no, I need to stop this before it goes to the break point, let's say.
Well, thank you, man. Honestly, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think I'm super honoured that you used my platform to talk about these things, man. Like
I said, it weren't necessarily planned, that.
That's fine.
But,
I'm just here to listen, man. That's what I'm about, and I think that you're absolutely right. I think that having a space to outlay and to just vomit everything out, and to be able to have people listen to you, it's important. It's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. I appreciate that, and I will listen back to that in earnest. And I think that a lot of people will be able to relate in the parkour community, for sure.
Maybe, and if even with that, if you want to reach out and have a chat, anything I've said, anything like, or if I've hit a nerve and I've upset you and you want to tell me I'm like wrong or whatever, please tell me. I'd like to know feedback as well, and if I can help anyone in any way who might be struggling with similar sort of things, just hit me up, and I'll have a convo with you, even if it's just over Instagram or Facebook, or jump on a video call, whatever. I'm very open to it. Or if you've got some crazy idea and you want to run a competition and you just need someone to go, yeah, man, go and do it. If you want to do a three-legged parkour race speed run, like, why not? Give it a go. Like, let's run an event. Let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listeners, if you watch on YouTube, you can find all the stuff for Liam and Nova City down below. If you're on Spotify, you can look above, find all the links. Go and connect with Liam. Liam, you're doing a lot of very, very good work, and you are worthy. And I think you are doing a lot more than you realise. So thank you again from me. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Liam. We'll call it there, and see you on the next one.
Yeah, catch you later, man.
So that's the end of the episode. Really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking around, whether you caught it on YouTube or Spotify. If you did enjoy it, hit subscribe on YouTube and you'll be updated with new episodes. Likewise on Spotify, you can hit follow. As always, I love hearing feedback, good or bad or ugly. So please get in touch, get involved. I want to be part of this community. I want to hear your thoughts. I put a lot of thought, care and work into these episodes. So if you really enjoyed it and want to support me and be a legend, then you can do so with the Buy Me a Coffee link underneath. This means you can give me some sort of donation, anything will do, and that will definitely energise me to make more of these podcasts and produce more content for you guys. Other than that, have a wicked day. Train hard, train safe, train soon.